Yeah.
Any other rituals? Those both are great.
Not
Maybe just in your day-to-day life, anything?
Oh, in my day-to-day life, I'm constantly doing improv throughout the day.
What do you mean?
Oh, I do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. I got all kinds of
Just by
things.
yourself?
Yeah, it's a whole. That's where I do the. I figure we'll talk about that at some point when I teach the one-on-ones. That came out of a workshop I did called The Art of Mimicry and How It Leads to Nuclear War. Because I would go to all these different festivals and I would travel and I would meet all these people from the quote unquote the sticks.
Yeah.
Which is not a derogatory term. It just means any place that isn't Chicago, LA, or New York.
I call it flyover country.
Yeah, anywhere they're doing improv that isn't Chicago, LA, or New York.
Yeah.
I ran up to the same things over and over again. People were like, I want to get better, but there's, we only get a show once a month because we're renting the theater. Or
sure,
there's only 7 of us in this scene.
A common problem, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a big NBA guy, and I'm like, there has to be a way, improv-wise, where just like an NBA player, you can go to the gym by yourself and just put up 1,000 jump shots.
Right.
To get better as an NBA player.
Right, just reps.
Yeah, so I took some of the exercises that Miles had given me, that I'd learned from him, some other stuff. And then stuff that I used to do when I was in high school. I did something called the National Forensic League. So there's different little exercises like that. So I'll do a 5-minute Herald. I'll play cat clock either right before I go to bed or right before I wake up. It's an exercise that Miles came up with back in the day when he wanted to get better. And it's just basically you look at your hands and you just either go through a dictionary or just think of a word. You think of 2 random nouns. You're like cat clock, and you just put them together. And then try and think of okay, what does that mean? It's a way to work the alternate reality muscle. Like if this is true, then what else is true?
Right.
So in this world, cats are clocks. So when you wake up in the morning, you pet a cat is like petting the snooze, hitting the snooze alarm. Kittens are wristwatch. Oh, dogs are bad luck in this world. Ooh, that's why the Egyptians worship cats. They're the harbingers of time.
And this is what you do? You do it out loud and everything?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And if you do it right after you wake up or right before you go to bed for 2 reasons. A is because you're still kind of like groggy and you're not judging yourself. You're just like, all right, let's just get through this fucking 5 minutes. It doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. And then if you do it right after you wake up, you're like, okay, cat clock. It's kind of like, all right, screw it. 5 minutes is up. The alarm goes off. And then you get in your shower and you go about your day. And throughout the day, your brain will work on that for you without knowing.
Oh, interesting.
So you'll just be driving to an audition and be like, all right, cat clock. I'll do that. It'll do that. Or, and this is why I start doing it right before I go to bed. Because you're tired, oh, I don't care. Let's do that. And then you fall asleep. I only average about 4 to 6 hours of sleep anyway.
Ooh, jeez.
Yeah, it has been for as long as I can remember. But during that time, after I've done cat clock and then I fall asleep, my brain, through the form of dreaming, will just run improv exercises for me for 4 to 6 hours.
That's amazing.
So while you're asleep, I am improvising.
So every night and every morning you do 5 minutes of that?
And then throughout the day.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, every time I get into a Lyft or an Uber, it's like, time to do bits.
And you're just talking to
oh yeah.
And then
what do you do for a living? What do you do when you're not driving for Lyft? If you don't mind me asking.
I see.
That's great.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I can be I'm not a dick about it. I'm not there to screw with them.
Right.
But I can be a little bit of a different person myself. Like for one example, I don't do it anymore. But for 2 years straight, I went into the Bank of America at Sunset and Vine and went to the same teller, Ava, lovely Armenian girl, and I went to the same teller every single time, and I convinced her that once a month I go sailing. I don't know dick about sailing. Also, she can see my bank account. She knows I'm broke. There's no way. Sailing is very expensive, and so I would do that. Yeah. Any opportunity, anytime you go in to buy a sandwich or Starbucks, that is an opportunity.
That's a great way to approach it because, especially with the car, people aren't at their cars so much. It's like, why not just knock it out on yourself?
Yeah. The next time you're going to an audition on the West Side, you're like, oh, I got to go to Ocean Park at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Just do a Herald.
Play the Conan game.
Yeah.
The Conan game is you're driving, Andy Richter is in the passenger seat, and in the side rear view mirror is Conan. And Conan just asked you, you know what, Mike? We know you got that movie coming out this week, Mike Boxelder. But what a lot of people don't know is that you got your start in improv. Can you tell us something? What's your philosophy of improv?
Yeah.
And then you just answer as if you're being interviewed on Conan O'Brien.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And every once in a while, because Andy always comes in with some bits, so you can do some bits back and forth with Richter.
That's great.
Yeah. And it just forces you to actually say out loud what it is that you actually believe and what you want to.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a quick way to get to your 10,000 hours or whatever.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.